Welcome in, everybody, to the College Football Betting YouTube channel. Before we get to the video you came here for, please do me a very quick favor. Do your boy a solid. Go ahead, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Really does help me grow, really does help this audience grow. And, of course, we are going to be giving you good, unique, fun, informed college football betting content all season long. Also, of course, you can find full episodes of College Football Betting with Aaron Torres wherever you download podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, etc. Now let's get to the video you came here for. First one, I will tell you this. By strict ranking, and even by strict brand name, I don't know that it is necessarily the most intriguing game on the schedule, but to me, I think you can argue it is the most intriguing game of Week 1, period, let alone the games that we haven't talked about. It is Utah going to play Florida in the Swamp. Utah is a 3-point favorite. Utah obviously ranked number 7 in the country. The over-under set at 51.5. Why is this game so important? Well, you know why, and why is it so intriguing, by the way? You know why, obviously. You don't need me to tell you. But at the end of the day, the bottom line is pretty straightforward. One, from the Florida perspective, Billy Napier's in town. I think this was a great hire for the Florida Gators, especially coming off of the Dan Mullen era. We know what happened those final few weeks, months, even really the last couple games of Dan Mullen's 2020 season. You could start to see things kind of self-combusting, lack of discipline, lack of accountability. Those are all things that are going to get fixed under Billy Napier. We will see how quickly it gets fixed, and we will see certainly, I'm very just curious to see what all those support staff members are doing. I don't know if you guys and girls saw those pictures of the support staff, but it is unreal how many people are working for Billy Napier. But overall, I do like the hire. Curious to see what that football team looks like on Saturday night in the Swamp. But at the same time, I'll say this. I think from Utah's perspective and from the Pac-12's perspective, you can argue. Some would disagree. Some would say there's the most pressure on Ohio State, the most pressure on Georgia, whatever. I think you can legitimately argue there is more pressure on Utah than any other team in Week 1, and it's for this reason. It is because they are a team that I think many people believe can make the college football playoff this year, myself included. Well, if you lose in Week 1 at Florida, that's probably not going to happen. But beyond that, why I think there's so much pressure, I do think they are carrying a lot of weight for the other 9 remaining teams in the Pac-12. And what I mean by that is that we don't know what the future is for the Pac-12, the Big 12. Obviously, on Wednesday, we saw all sorts of stuff about TV contracts and this and that and the other thing. But as the Pac-12 moves forward, if it is these 10 teams, they need to start winning marquee games and games that matter, and that is why there is so much pressure to me for the Utah Utes. It's not just about winning this game. It's not just about putting your best foot forward. It is about representing your conference and going on the road and winning in an SEC stadium. I'll just say this. I think if Utah loses this game, it not only hurts Utah, I think it hurts anyone in the Pac-12 if they were to have a successful season for the idea of making a college football playoff. Imagine if Utah loses this game, but then goes undefeated the rest of the way. They're like 12-1 at the end of the season, win the Pac-12, but their only loss was to the 7th or 8th best team in the SEC, which is what I think Florida is. That is a terrible sign for the Pac-12, and it would be hard to argue that that team would deserve to be in over, say, a second SEC team, whatever. So I think there's a lot of pressure on Utah. I think also the good news is this is a good matchup for Utah, and why I think it's a good matchup is pretty straightforward. We know this Utah offense is explosive, and I talked about it a little bit on Tuesday, Wednesday's Pac-12 preview show. But the last time we saw Utah was last time we saw them on the field was against Ohio State in the Rose Bowl, okay? And we spent all offseason talking about Ohio State, how that offense has a chance to be historically great. Well, here's my question. If Ohio State has a chance to be historically great and they put up 48 points in the Rose Bowl, what does it say about Utah that they went score for score with them in that game? I can tell you exactly what it means. It means this offense probably isn't getting enough credit. They run the ball insanely well, 216 yards per game. And when Cam Rising took over at quarterback, he quarterbacked. He came in Game 3. Game 4 was really when he took over full-time as the starter. In 9 of the 10 games that he started, they scored 34 or more points. And more importantly, it's what I just said. They run the ball really well, and they run the ball right at you, which I think is a perfect formula to go in the Swamp and win. One, it's obviously common sense college football stuff. If you love football, you don't need me to tell you. The way you take a great home crowd out of a game is long, sustained drives where they can't get your offense off the field. But more importantly, I just think it's a really good matchup as well for the Utah Utes because Florida is a rebuilding team, a rebuilding defense, and they were especially bad against the run last year. They finished the season 86th nationally against the run, and so when I look at Florida and their opportunity to do damage in this game, I do believe that this is just a spot where I don't think Utah has to get creative. I don't think they have to reinvent the wheel. I just think this is a really, really good spot for them. Florida, this program is going to get better under Billy Napier, but there were a lot of holes. This was a coach that said coming out of spring practice, we are officially open for business in the transfer portal. They added some pieces, but is it enough? And the final thought on Florida, too. Last year, very undisciplined, as I said, under Dan Mullen. 120th nationally in penalties, 121st in turnover margin. I know those are things that can get fixed in an offseason, but can they be perfected in one offseason? I don't think so. I told you, I really like the Oregon-Georgia under. I really like Utah going on the road. I don't love to bet road favorites, but I really do like Utah here.